question on to, like, say, Benjamin Shesko, doesn't it? Because now we're entering that territory of, all right, Shesko. And this is a spoiler for the preview that's going to come out tomorrow. But I was like, start him against Arsenal in the first game of the season. And I got some pushback at the time. Oh, and you're being deluded, be real, grow up, some of that kind of stuff. Yet he's only just come in. He hasn't played a lot of games. He's only had like a week of training. I was like, all right, fair enough. Then once we heard that he hadn't, he took the penalty really late on against Grimsby. And the line from the club was that he had a really bad cramp. He hasn't only played 90 minutes since April. So that's why. So I was like, well, I don't really maybe necessarily expect him to start against Burnley then. I get that. Now, it's been a couple of weeks, played international games. He's come on a handful of times now for the club. Does he start at the derby? Or is it one of those ones where Ruben's like, away from home? I don't know if I want to give him his first start there, but when is the right time to start Benjamin Shesko? Are we already into the territory where our £70 million striker, we're like, it's not the right game for him?
Yeah, he ain't starting, bro. I'll be honest. Like, I don't. It's very. Look, we're not in training, innit? So it's hard. It's hard for me as a fan to say, here's why he's not starting, because he's rubbish. We all believe in Benjamin Shesko. We know what a top talent he is. I think but what it is as fans, we're like, yeah, Rasmus Højlund's not very good. He's struggling. Get rid of him and buy Shesko. Then he plays from the start and he just scores, and that's why you upgraded. But in reality, that's not how real life football works. It just isn't. It just isn't how it works. Now, some people who are not fond of Amorim can use this as a stick to beat with him and say, well, it's just not how it works because this clueless manager has got £75 million striker on the bench and he's not even playing him and this, that, and the other. But I have to say with my own eyes, like, when I watched him against Burnley, because I wasn't at Arsenal, he only come on for like 10 minutes in person, so it wasn't a true judge of what's going on. And I obviously wasn't at the Grimsby and Fulham game. So, the Burnley game was the first time I got to see him up close and personal. And he just looked a bit off it. He just looked off it. He just looked little bit lost. Still trying to work out how to play with him. Obviously, the fitness is obviously going to be an issue. But he's played 90 minutes against Grimsby now. He's played half an hour or so against Burnley, something like that. Did he come on against? He did come on for a really short time against Fulham, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
He's been on in every game, I believe.
He's been on in every game. Yeah. So if it was, and then he's gone on international.
Sometimes
duty,
you wouldn't know. Sometimes
you wouldn't know. That's
really
what I mean. Yeah. So I think, if I'm honest with you guys now, I don't think it's a fitness thing now. It's not about fitness. I think he's up to speed if he has to start. I think it's Ruben doesn't think he's bedded into the team and what he wants from the striker versus what he wants from the team to connect with Benjamin. Now, the obvious thing is just keep playing him, obviously. But Ruben just doesn't see it like that. He doesn't. And the longer it goes on that he don't become the straight starter, it's like you do get a bit, okay, it's the fifth game now, so it's all right. Okay,
well, he played 2 lots of 90 minutes for Slovenia. Just checked that. He played 2 lots of 90 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, we're getting into a space now where it's like,
no reason not to.
The way at the Etihad is probably the last one I'm going to give you. Like, after that, I'm going to start going, what's wrong with him? What's happening here? I will. Like, why is he not... this is the last of the games where I'm like, he's just got here. He's got to adapt. After this, away at the Etihad, like, at home against Chelsea, I don't care. It should be like, all right, come on now. Come on, he's ready. What are you saying on it, James?
Yeah, I mean, I see it the same way. It's kind of funny. Like, we're all sitting. This goes to show something kind of interesting because we'll all sit here every single game and every single week talking about Ruben Amorim, talking about pressure, talking about all of that. Meanwhile, Ruben Amorim's going week to week like he's going to be here for the next 10 years. If you kind of look at how he's picking a team, how he's going about things, he's like, it's the long term. Because if he was under serious pressure, he'd be starting Shesko every game and he'd be throwing Lamens right in the deep end if you really think about it. Because that's what managers tend to do, right? It's like, oh shit, I'm under pressure. I've got to do something serious. I've got to put the players in. Instead, he's picking a team like he always has. I'm going to keep picking Casemiro in my midfield because I'm winning. I'm doing well with it. I like how it's performing. I'm going to keep picking, Cunha and Mount up front. Now they're out. So we could talk about that. I think that might push Shesko into the starting lineup either way. even if he wouldn't have started if they were fit. And I'm going to keep picking a team the way that I see it in training. And he's always been that way, to be fair. He's always been that way. At Sporting, one of the biggest things he was known for was he just picks based on what he sees in training. He really likes to do that. He likes to see players' applications. I mean, we saw this last year with kind of the issues that have blown up with Rashford, with other things. He had a big thing about how are they training? What am I seeing on a week-to-week basis at Carrington behind the scenes and all of that? That's how he picks. And it makes it hard sometimes on the outside to understand that for us, right? Because we all sit there and we'll look and be like, yeah, we have our opinions, we have our takes, we have our players, we have our favorites, we have the people we want to see playing, we have our views on it, but we really don't know why, what the reason is behind the scenes. What I'm not saying this is the case. What if Shesko's rubbish in training? I'm not saying he is. I'm not trying to start a hate thing against him. What if he was actually just genuinely rubbish in training, can't hit the target and all of that, and every week people are screaming, what the hell, Amorim, you're not starting him, but he's rubbish in training. I don't think that's what's going on. I think he just needs time to get into the team.
It would be a massive red flag.
Yeah, my goodness.
It needs time to bed in and all that. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying it's like you could go to those extremes. You know what I mean? Like because we see decisions that are made where we go, why is that? But what happens all week? And especially now that we have really one game a week, I think training becomes even more important, right? Because they're trying to really, who's getting it each week, who's understanding the tactics of it each week. And what I found interesting in the first few weeks, for myself included, is we've had this before, but the happier we are with the lineup, the worse the game goes. And the more we have concerns about who's being selected, the better the game goes. And I looked at Arsenal and Burnley and I was like, I remember in the pre-match lives, like people like, we've lost already. It's over. This is terrible.
Yeah.
And they were the best performance. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the best performance. And then the ones we're really happy about, we end up losing, like Grimsby. I think we just have to kind of just wait, and see. But I think he'll start soon. But we kind of have to, it's the same with the keeper. Let the manager make his choice based off training. And we'll live or die in the long term with the concept of that. But he's not acting like a guy who's under any serious pressure to suddenly pick someone or being told, make a change or you're screwed, by Wilcox who bought him or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. Although someone does mention it there in the chat about I remember we had the same conversation with Ahmad, didn't we? Going
But Ahmad came on and was really good though. Like he came on against Liverpool in that cup game and he won the game. And then we didn't see him for 3 months. You know what I mean?
Once it got to Amari Forson over Ahmad, there might be something a little bit deeper here.
Like if Rasmus was still getting on the pitch ahead of Shesko,
that's why
you'd start going, hang on a second. But Cunha and Mount are good players. Like it's not like we've had shit players ahead of him. They've been playing well. These are good players,
Well, and also, like you said, when he's come on, it's not as if everyone's going to tell you what, he looks sharp. He's the opposite with Shesko, isn't he? He actually doesn't look sharp at the moment. So maybe that's part of it. Either way, I mean, I'm kind of glad actually that Ruben's told these big decisions about the starting 11 today because, well, I hope it will, probably won't. When the team news comes out, like Flex mentions, everyone goes crazy anyway. But he's explicitly told us today, Bayern Dira starting in goal.